snacks.
What it do, snackers, snackettes, snack X's? It's your boy Gage. I'm here with jokes. I'm here with sin, and it's time for another episode of Spoiler Boys.
Spoiler Boys.
Y'all know what it is. Catch us in the streets. We catch you slipping and just ruin the end of a movie for you. That's how we get down. You know what I'm saying?
What?
That's the finishing move. That's the finishing move. Just shut
Oh
up.
yes. Oh yes.
Shut them down. Listen. Obviously, the big joint right now, the Batman. We need to have a discussion about the Batman. Everybody's had a chance to see it.
Yep.
Sir.
Sin, you're super fresh. You just saw it today.
I just saw it today. Yes.
For me, it's a couple days old. Jokes for you, it's a couple more days old. Like you didn't go back and see it again, did you?
I haven't had a chance to go back and see it again yet. But
Okay.
definitely.
I like how you said that. I do like how you said that because that's my very first question. Before getting into do we like it, how is it, what's it all about, whatever, the litmus test for me straight up and down is, do either of you plan to go back to the theater to see this movie again? Is it that good?
I plan on seeing it again.
In the theater?
Yes, and I'm gonna go take it to I saw it in IMAX. That was the first time around, but this time I want to go see it in Screen X. I want to see.
Okay. You ready to drop a few extra bones?
A few extra bones.
Okay.
Sin?
No, I'm not going back to see it in the theater, but I will definitely watch it when I have my hands on it. At home again, I will definitely be watching it as soon as I get it. But I'm not going back to the theater to watch it again.
It's 45 days and then it's home, right?
It's true.
It'll be on HBO Max, right? It'll be available. So it's not really
Too
that
far out.
long of a
No,
wait.
not
It's
at all. Not at all.
mid-April,
Yeah.
and you'll be able to watch it at home.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I don't feel strongly enough about it to just go see it again. However, if somebody was like, I want to go see it, I haven't seen it yet, I'd be like, oh, I'm down. We can do that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like I would go see it again. But I'm not like, oh, gotta go see this joint again. It's happening. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at. So jokes, I guess I have to ask you this then. Since you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go see it again. I'm gonna go see it this way. Obviously you feel strongly enough about the film to not only warrant watching it again, but to warrant spending additional money to see it on
format.
Another spectacular, another
format.
format, and on another screen. Does that mean like IMAX wasn't enough for you? Is it because Screen X you haven't? Have you had experiences?
I haven't had the experience of Screen X yet, so that's part of the reason why.
Okay.
And I think just with certain things and certain ways that things were shot in the movie, I feel like Screen X for anyone that's not familiar, Screen X is essentially 3 screens sitting next to each other. I don't want to say IMAX sideways. I don't know how to really treat it, but it's 3 screens next to each other. 3 full-size screens. Three full-size screens, not IMAX size. And it doesn't necessarily stretch the movie. I know for Batman specifically, it was recorded to be able to watch on a Screen X screen to the way that it's supposed to be. So it would give you a little bit of a different view than IMAX, of course, than anything else.
Okay. I dig that. And I guess, if you're gonna spend the money, you should feel strongly about what you're gonna go see. And this you feel strongly enough about it to do. So let's get into it. Let's just get right to the meat and potatoes of what people really want to know. Let's dig into Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne / Batman. Because I think that is, of all things, probably most people who have seen the previews and are used to Batman movies, if there is a strike against this movie,
it's that. Yeah.
It's that.
It was that.
It's Edward. It's Twilight. It's
Twilight.
Yeah, it's all that. Yeah.
So let's talk about that. How do we feel? I'm gonna start with you, Sin. Super fresh, just saw it. How do you feel about Robert Pattinson's take on Bruce Wayne and Batman?
I'm good with both of them. Like, not one time watching it, I ever thought of Twilight or vampires or anything. Like, it didn't take me back to, oh, that's the Twilight dude. Not one time it did that during it. So I think in just that there, he did a good job as far as separating, himself from that. Being playing this character. And I enjoyed him in both roles, as Batman, as Bruce Wayne. I did. I really did. Like, yeah, he had moments where I'm like, yeah, I like you a lot better than Christian Bale in this role, like straight up. So, yeah, I enjoyed him as both of them.
Jokes?
I'm right in the same place. I enjoyed his performance, both Batman and Bruce Wayne. I will say Bruce Wayne didn't have as much screen time as what I kind of thought maybe we would get out of him. But the way that Bruce was used to push the Batman in accomplishing what he was trying to do, I really liked how they framed that.
Yeah, but that's them. I'm talking about Pattinson playing the role.
Oh yeah, just Pattinson overall solid.
Okay. There are parts of this Bruce Wayne that I think are a little too emo for me. There's a little too much like brooding baby, like head down, hair hanging black, you know what I mean? Like all black. Like there's a little too much emo for me in the Bruce Wayne. I don't know if I could blame Pattinson for that. I think that Pattinson's portrayal of the character as written for this version of Batman is A1. I think that this is a better Batman than we got with Bale. I think it's a better Batman than we got with Affleck. I don't think it's better than Keaton, but I think it's up there. Like this is the first time that I really feel like Batman and Bruce Wayne played by this person even comes close to truly rivaling. Like this to me feels like we are setting our own mark for what it is. Everything else that's been done since Keaton did it felt like they were following in Keaton's footsteps. And this is the first, and partially because a lot of those other movies before the Nolan trilogy were technically sequels to the Keaton.
In the same universe.
Yeah.
Right. So
same world.
This is the first time it actually, like, it felt like a reboot to me. It felt like this is a different Batman. This is a Batman who is dealing with things differently. This is a Bruce Wayne who isn't quite so happy-go-lucky, and again, a little too much brooding and emo for me in the Bruce Wayne part of it. However, I like Pattinson for this. I may have had issues with Pattinson as the billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
Right.
I might have had issues with that because he's not that Bruce Wayne.
But taking it back to some of the early years, it fits. It works.
Right?
Yeah.
Like the money's there, clearly. Like he's got
clearly
the money.
He's got
He doesn't care about it, right? He's not, we obviously know what he's using it for.
Right.
But like, he's not whining and dining. He's not a ladies' man. You know what I'm saying? Outside of being back, like, again, I feel like if this role had been written for Pattinson to try to do, which is what every other version of Batman has been. They tried to get a man who is more suave, more debonair. I mean, George Clooney, for God's sakes, played Bruce Wayne. You understand what I'm saying? So clearly you're going for the most suave, debonair, you know what I mean, whatever, to play that role. This isn't that. And for that, it works. Because Christian Bale's version of Batman Bruce Wayne was suave, debonair, playboy.
Yeah.
It felt like you're still trying to do what Keaton did. You're still trying to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I love that they aren't doing that, and that Pattinson was given the opportunity to be this version of Batman, to be the Batman.
Yeah. I think moving it to that different time period early on is what like separates that from the other one. You know what I mean? Like they were trying to be more right now, but how Batman is at the times, who is the playboy, philanthropist, all that kind of stuff, by taking it back years before where he's, you know, who we all know now. You can do that with the character, have him more, as much as you hated it, emo and like still dealing with all that type of stuff and broody and all that kind of stuff, and you know, deal with it in that way.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Batman who's been at it for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Right? That's
Year 2.
He's still fresh.
Says year 2.
2 years in. So this is like year 3. He said he's been doing it for 2 years. So
yeah,
this is year 3, right?
Pretty sure it's 2, because like in the when he's like jotting notes down, it actually is written on there. It actually says year 2, and like you see and you see all the notes that he's compiled.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I figured. I don't know. I guess I looked at it like the end of
maybe. So we can say maybe end of year. Maybe that's a collection of it for.
But yeah, so it's still
early,
super fresh, right? But it doesn't feel like Batman Begins, where it's like we gotta go through the whole origin story and we gotta whatever. Like you're seeing him and hearing him say. As a matter of fact, I feel like he said, and I could, again, it was a couple days ago. I feel like he said, for 2 years, nothing's changed. Like I've been doing this for 2 years, and I haven't changed anything. I haven't made a dent. Which
I think that's accurate.
I'm almost positive that's what he said.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
So again, this is not a veteran Batman. And I don't get the feeling that in whatever the second movie is, we just jump to veteran Batman. You know what I mean?
I don't want to jump to veteran Batman.
Nah, I think we'll get some polishing. He'll a couple things down.
Yeah, but I want to keep it here with him still learning. I like this.
Yeah. I want to do this a little bit differently than the way we've done Spoiler Boys in the past, because I think we need to just kind of change things up a little bit. I think it's good for us. What I want to know is, what are issues you have with this movie? What are things you don't like about this movie? Is there anything that stands out that you're like, I don't feel like they should have done this way, or I would have preferred if they did this. They introduced characters too early, or whatever, or do y'all just not have? Again, because if the answer to this question is nothing, that's a whole other discussion that I feel like we need to have, and I just think that's a great starting off point. Do you have things you would change about this movie? Things that you feel like should be done differently, or things you didn't like?
Nothing. I would say nothing really stood out as like needing to be super changed. I think this one is similar to what Nolan tried to do. They tried to ground it a little bit more. So, instead of having like the Penguin with penguins around him and over like doing that type of stuff, they tried to bring it to where it could be a little more realistic. And I like the feel of what they did with it. Sure. I really don't have any arguments with what they presented us with in this variation of the Batman. So I'm going to say at this point, I'm perfectly fine, honestly, with the way that we got it to us.
Okay.
For the most part, I'm with jokes. I enjoyed exactly what we got, the interpretation of what we got and everything. I didn't want them introducing a Joker type of thing at the very end of it. Let's leave him alone for a while. I loved what y'all did with the Riddler and all that kind of stuff. Let him be its own thing. Like, instead of bringing, Joker, let's put him off. That threw me off that's the one thing I would say that threw me off at the very end. All this you did with
I would say I kind of wasn't a fan of that.
Yeah, you build up the Riddler this whole time. I'm liking how the Riddler's portrayed in this movie and everything, and I'm rocking with it. And then at the end, hey, Joker's Like
he's here. Like he's like,
and look, you know, that's my guy. Like I like the Joker, but like it just felt forced and off.
They shoehorned it in because it's the Joker, and
like I that was the one thing I would say that just left a iffy taste in my mouth.
I can understand. I can definitely understand that one.
You know, I think my only major issue with this is that for a 3-hour film, there are moments as you get towards the end of it where it's starting to drag. It's like, okay.
That was one thing I did say.
I saw what you were talking about, jokes with that. Like you think it's over, and then wait, there's something else, and it goes further. Then hold up, there's something else. And it goes further. Like, okay, I see what jokes is.
And you know, I'm not mad at that, but I feel like when you do it once, oh yeah, we still going with this. You do it twice, you're kind of like, okay, but then by the time you do it the third time, it's like, okay, like hold on a minute here. You're just gonna keep.
I got things to do.
You're gonna keep doing this.
I got errands to run.
Don't get me wrong. The twist or the turns that they did each time, they definitely leveled up each time, which I was cool with, and it wasn't like, oh,
let's talk about it. Let's put him out there. What he?
So caught the Riddler. And my man snuck out his apartment, went and just sat at the restaurant. I'm like, you idiot, whatever. So they caught him, arrested him.
Now I'm pretty sure that was on purpose, though.
But you know what I liked about that scene, Jokes, before you keep going?
Yeah.
The fact that in the trailers, that was like the intro to the trailers. And then that was like the finale of the joint. Like, I see what y'all did. I kind of messed with that, but go ahead.
So they caught him, cool. Went back, you know, they were still looking through all the stuff that he had in the apartment. You know, Batman found the one letter that told him what he needed to do or whatnot ever. But then something else hit a little bit down the road, and when Batman was like, or Bruce at that, I don't remember who he was at the point in time, and he was like, wait a minute, I need to go back to the apartment again. Goes back to the apartment, my man's rug on the carpet, he pulls up the whole entire rug, and we have this whole entire map that's just literally etched in this hardwood floor of Gotham. And you know, you have the little lights that's showing that, oh, something else is getting ready to go down. Right. That one I was like, okay, my man Riddler is still a threat right now. And I was like, okay, I'm into this one right now.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. That was that felt predictable to me. Mm-hmm. Like just the way that the Riddler joint happened. The fact that he essentially allowed himself to get caught. Because the truth of the matter is, Slim, you've been in that apartment across the street from the one spot where this has been happening the whole time. Dog, you know what I mean? Like, on facts, he's not getting caught unless he wants to get caught.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he intended to get caught because when Batman comes to see him in the jail,
he was considered,
he thought it was going to be like, we did it. Like they was a team. Like up here, my man really slipping. Like he thought him and Batman was a team. And we doing this together. And we, you know what I mean? We going to bring down all of this. Like you fighting for the city? I'm fighting for the city, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like for real, him going to listen, my man had like an orgasm when they slammed him against the table.
Dog.
Like, they called him in the top. Like I was like, dog. Like,
hold on a minute.
He had like an actual, like a moment. Like,
and then Bat showed up in the window.
The way that his face looked like and his eyes started to roll, I thought he died. Like I thought he had put something in his, when he was like, I ordered some pie, right? And
my man was upset. My man was upset.
I thought he put something in his own, you know what I'm saying, like drinks or something like that, and he drugged himself or something like that. And then when Batman showed up and he just looked at him and started smiling, oh, you're not dead? Ew, what you was having an orgasm? Like you had a moment when they caught you?
I was happy when Bat showed up at that window. Like, ooh,
he really was like, yeah. So like again, the fact that there was something else to it, like there was gonna be more to it, was totally obvious.
Yeah.
And I was expecting, what I wasn't expecting, I guess, was that whatever they were looking for was something that they were gonna miss when they were going through all this stuff. Because when Batman walked in, they're like, "You really gonna let this guy in here? You gonna really?" You know what I mean? Like, shut up! Y'all haven't figured this out yet. You know what I mean?
Like I do this. Like, leave me alone. Like, I'm walking here. Like, I've been doing this for 3 hours.
I mean, like,
I walk in the crime scene and I detect.
He wearing gloves. You know what I'm saying? Like
that was funny. Like, you just gonna let him contaminate the crime scene like that?
Yeah,
like gloves.
Yeah. So like, I did think whatever it was at that moment, he was gonna find it. You know what I'm saying? And he found the bat and the note. You know what I'm saying? And so I was thinking that was gonna be it. For him to go back and then be like, go talk to him, and then him be like, oh, you didn't. Oh, it was right there, and you didn't. You're not as smart as I thought you were. Like,
greatest detective.
Oh, shucks. Yeah.
What did you do?
Yeah. That I didn't have issues with. But again, it does get to a point where it just, okay, let's wrap this joint up. I got it. City's in trouble. It's gonna be a flood. All right, now we on. All right, all the guys is coming. We shot the new mayor, like, and then she ate that joint.
Oh, she ate
that joint and listen, and walked it off through the water, like.
Yep.
I said, oh, they forgot they shot her.
I was like, oh
that's
man.
The first thing I said when I saw her in the water, I was like, oh, she's chilling like it don't even hurt. Like, okay.
That's water.
My mayor right there.
That's that healing water. that's that healing
special flood water.
Yeah, again, it felt to me like the more it dragged on, the more I was starting to be able to pick things apart.
Yeah.
Which is the way that I watch things. So I was like, okay, it's getting weak. It feels like you're starting to drag it just for the sake of dragging it. You know what I'm saying? And definitely I feel like there were things that they could have just cut and ended the joint and been like, see you next time. We'll put these joints on DVD. You know what I'm saying? We'll put these joints on the Blu-ray. You can watch them.
We'll cover this in the sequel. Yada, yada.
Or something. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's probably my biggest gripe. It's just the fact that it just dragged.
It dragged at that point for it.
You know what I'm saying?
But otherwise,
up until the very end, it doesn't really feel long. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't, like, at no point was I like, hey, dog, this joint is taking too long. You know what I mean? Like, until the very end. And then I was like, okay. I want to get my little light and be like, yo, wrap it up. Wrap it up, B. Yo, wrap it up. Let's talk about some of the characters. Again, we've already talked about Pattinson, Batman. Let's talk about Alfred. How do we feel about Alfred?
Alfred was cool. Like,
yeah.
I didn't feel any specific way about him. He didn't have as much screen time as I might have wanted to get to know him, but it's Alfred, so I know Alfred, so I was, fine with him. I like seeing him help Bruce decipher, the codexes and all that kind of stuff. Like, I really enjoyed that. You know what I mean? Like, him kind of like, we know how he feels about him being Batman at this time, but him still assisting with him. Like, okay, I know Bruce is going to go out and do this. Let me help him, but try to keep him as reined in as possible with it. So I enjoyed it.
And that's where I think for this movie, I think is what Alfred really came in, was to keep the Bruce side. It's like, look, I know you Batman, you got the cape on, but you got to remember, you about to go to this funeral. You need to have these cufflinks on. Like, you have to look the part.
Still
you gotta keep that. It's like when he was talking about, like, I don't care that I have all the money and all this. I got to get this done as Batman. He's like, but you're not Batman right now when you go out. So you gotta remember, you gotta do these business meetings. Like, we've seen
these accountants are coming over. Like, why'd you bring them? Because you have a job.
Why they coming here, bro?
You didn't go.
Yeah.
So that's what I like about this Alfred in this scenario, is trying to keep the Bruce in line, and so people don't start thinking that you Batman, you out here at night doing something that you shouldn't be doing out here.
Yeah, you went and became a recluse. All of a sudden, Batman pops up. It's only so much amount of time when somebody's not gonna put two and two together.
I like this Alfred. I like that they sowed small seeds, right, of like what Alfred's role has been in Bruce's upbringing since his parents died, right? And them using Alfred to spin that kind of origin story and the story of his parents' death and the role that Alfred played. I will say, I'm not a fan of how Bruce was treating Alfred. Like, I've always seen him treat Alfred more like thank you for taking care of me, and Alfred, you're so good to me, and you're great, da da da, whatever. And him being like,
this is more like you're not my father. Yeah, this is more like you ain't my father.
Well, I slapped this. What?
But like we said, we gotta remember this is early years of the whole Batman.
And they haven't built that.
Still though, he been with Alfred since he was like 6, 8. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like for you to be, I don't know, how old is Batman? 30.
Something like that, yeah. But he's 26. Still, you know what I'm saying? He's still hurting, so he's gonna lash out, you know what I'm saying, to somebody. Like, I get it.
I'm not willing to give him that. I'm like, it just didn't feel, it felt like it's the first time he ever said it. Mm-hmm. Even if he always felt it. You know what I'm saying? And it's the only time, though, that I've ever felt like, that might be the one issue I have with this Bruce Wayne. It's the only time that I've ever felt like Bruce Wayne was painted as ungrateful to Alfred.
That was the movie.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? And maybe that's the parent in me being like, hey, Slim, come on, dog. Somebody's cooking for you and cleaning you, and you know what I mean? And it's not until you get to the, to the end and you have that conversation. Again, I like the seeds that they sowed where he says, like, I could teach you how to fight, but I couldn't be your father. You needed your father, right? And the idea of like, okay, where Bruce get all these hands from? Oh, you got your hands from Alfred. I ain't playing no games out here. Okay, because I've been watching Batman work this entire movie. And he's working.
Working, yeah. But he's not a ninja.
No.
Yeah, but he's working. But I got you.
He know how to use the shadows a little bit. I give him that.
Oh no, not a little bit. He's working in the shadows. He's working in the shadows. I would say though, the one moment of that ungratefulness, like that made me actually like physically react, like, hey, relax. Like in the theater was with the cufflinks. When he went to put the cufflinks on, he's like, "Oh, you're not a Wayne or something like that." He's like, "Your father gave me." Like, I'm like, dude.
I was like, damn.
Like, dog, like that was unnecessary, dog. Relax.
A little extra.
Like,
relax.
Again, that's how I felt, and it was
pump your
like
brakes.
They in like the same place that they had that same conversation the last time. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, hey, dog, I would slap you, Bruce.
I would slap the mascara off you right now.
Let me take these cufflinks off right here, and we can have our own little fisticuffs right now.
Hey, dog, you ain't got to wear. Hey, listen, you keep these joints on the ground, bro. Like you better. I might be a little like your father gave these to me. I might be a little more Wayne than you are. I might have more rights to these joints than you do. I certainly could be in this joint right. He probably does write his own checks for real.
Probably does.
He probably does write his own check because Bruce ain't looking at no accounting.
Oh no.
I need a bonus this month. Huh.
Dang. Okay. Alfred, Bruce, Catwoman. Let's talk about Zoe Kravitz. I posted. We need to talk about Zoe Kravitz.
You did.
It really didn't have nothing to do with her being Catwoman. However, before I let either one of you speak on this, I'm going to tell you how I feel about it. I don't think this is the best Catwoman I've ever seen. I still think Michelle Pfeiffer is the best Catwoman I've ever seen on screen. I think she ate it. However, again, we've seen Catwoman on screen since then. This to me is as close to being on par with that portrayal, with Batman Returns Catwoman portrayal, as we've ever gotten. They defined the character as a person. Not just, again, like the thing about Michelle Pfeiffer's version of it, again, it's still very comic booky. It's still very like, she falls in the thing or whatever and becomes Catwoman. Like it's, this is more like what things are in terms of trying to ground things in reality and say, she's a cat burglar. You know what I'm saying? Who has a thing for strays. I dig that. You know what I'm saying? And just is wearing a cat burglar suit kind of thing. And it just so happens that the way she places the joint on her head, it has a little bit of, you know what I'm saying? Which is a little Wolverine-ish, but okay. We're not completely leaning into it just yet. Nobody ever calls her that. She does reference, let's go off, me and you. Let's just get out of here. I'm going to Bloodhaven. Love that. Love she threw that out there. And just said, let's just do our thing to back the cat. What's up? You know what I mean? But I feel like she owned this role. I feel like regardless of what wigs they put on her, regardless of I don't feel like it ever breaks stride, even though there are moments when she kind of has to be a bit of a different person. And definitely super left field with because he's my father. Okay.
Oh yeah, that one got. I was like, whoa.
Pardon me.
What? We talking adopted here? We talking?
I didn't see that coming. Didn't see that coming. But again, one of the things I was waiting for, because it is kind of like you never quite. One of the things I like about the way that this movie is presented and what they do with that, that portion of it is there is a mystery around why Selena is so involved. What is the thing? What is it? And they touch on it, but it never sits at the forefront. So while you're you never really are why are you so? You kind of just take her at her word. It's just Annika. You know what I mean? She's just this poor girl who didn't do anything to anybody, and it's not right. You know what I'm saying? What what they did to her, and that's what I'm in it for.
That's my friend. And then when you see him looking at the apartment, you see how much he's trying to help her out and care for an apartment. So they sell the idea that it's all about that was my homegirl, that was my friend. I'm trying to avenge what happened to her.
Right, and it speaks if you've seen some of the animated Catwoman joint, the animated short, which is dope. If you haven't seen it, you should check the joint out. But I'm not talking about that new joint, the old joint. The new joint's not it. I'm talking about the old joint where she's she has the young girl that's with her. She's trying to rescue her and keep her from getting they were kidnapping girls and shipping them off, all that kind of stuff or whatever. She's trying to help get her out of that. So it seemed like that kind of a thing. And so it kind of made sense to me because that is a role that she has played more recently in comic books and so forth. It's she is an anti-hero as best as you know what I mean, you can say it. And her I can take care of myself attitude seems to work perfectly fine unless she's fighting Bruce, unless she's dealing with Bruce. Slim just put the pin on. Just go ahead and lay down.
Relax.
Just knows what to say. It's just
this is what you do.
This
is what I do. And again, speaks to him working in them shadows because she's moving, though. She's clearly really good at what she does.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Every time she turn around, my man's just so you gonna eat that? You was about to eat? She be shook. Come on, dog.
Stop all that.
Say hi, bro. Which again adds to his ability because you go from this man just snuck up on the sneakiest woman in Gotham, and then he walked across the room, and that joint was kakook, 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 kakook. Bruh.
He
know when to turn the silence mode on.
He know when to be quiet, and then he know when to intimidate. I want you to hear me coming.
Let me hold my chains. Let me hold my chains, Mom. He holding that utility belt, that belt making all the noise.
Listen, like a Western, dog. His boots walking in just Spurs joint. Go.
Them steel-toe Timberlands, extra heavy.
Yeah,
I feel bad for anybody, but I got kicked by him.
How can they can hear this dude walking in the subway joint when he shows
in the
up,
shadow.
beat up all the jokers in the shadows. They what's that noise? This man was just gook, gook, gook. She goes into the house, slides down the rope, quiet as a cat, bro. Gets over to the joint, gets into the whole state.
He's just right there, like, hey, what's up, Shorty?
Hey, what's good, Shorty?
Where'd you come from? Hey, what it do?
What you come through in your socks, though? What you mean? You know what I mean? And then, like, heard the security man coming, like, yoinked her up, like, all right.
Relax. Be quiet.
I like the chemistry between the two of them.
Definitely.
Better than the chemistry between any other Catwoman that's been on screen. Again, except for maybe Michelle Pfeiffer.
I'm with you. I like this for more so an origin of Catwoman we may see her grow into, and that's how I looked at it, because I wasn't getting those full Catwoman vibes.
Exactly.
But I was enjoying like seeing how she's evolving into that persona. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
if he's only in year 3.
Exactly.
I feel like she. Again, I'm not even totally positive this is the best Catwoman ever. But I feel like she owned it.
I'm with you, and like this, I liked her better than any other live action Catwoman outside of Michelle Pfeiffer that I have personally seen.
Right. Oh yeah. Well, she's smacking Halle Berry in the mouth.
Yeah. That and whatever. Exactly. Look, I can't remember that. Yeah, from Christian Bale Joe.
Anne Hathaway.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We didn't have
nothing against Anne Hathaway, but like
something against her Catwoman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I always love when just like she owned the role. Like, you want to take, there's certain cues that you want to take from some of your predecessors that have been in the role, but at the same time, you don't want to, just grab something and then just stick it to you, but then it doesn't come off the same way.
Right.
But when you take those small little nuances and then just, do your thing. But then, hey, I got this little subtle thing that's similar to what a Michelle Pfeiffer or someone did for it. It gives you a better presentation when you do it.
Yeah, look, I don't know what the circumstances are under which she learned to do the things that she's doing. But they don't, any other time Catwoman is presented to you, the first time she's presented, she's almost always presented as a cat burglar. She's just a thief. She's out there to get the thing and make some money or whatever. When the first time you see her put her skills to use, again, regardless of how she got them or how she learned to do what she does, she's putting them to use to go and take back the passport that was taken from her friend. You know what I'm saying? Like
she's looking to avenge her friend. Yeah.
Clearly, she got a whole toolkit of tools to use to get up in your safe.
And a closet in the apartment.
Oh, yeah. No doubt. So, like, she's been at this. I'm not, but even like, this is a Catwoman who has purpose, right? Like, even when she goes at the end and, like, steal the bags of money, she's confronted about it, and it's like, Slim, he owes me that money. That's how we get to because he's my father, that's why. That's how we get there, right? Like, you don't know everything you think you know, which clearly
wasn't mad at that.
To me, this is a Bruce Wayne who learned in this movie, I might have to do a little more studying. Like, I might need to do a little more sleuthing.
Yeah, he's so linear focused. You know what I mean? Like,
he still thinks he knows more than it seems like. Yeah. He does have things wrapped up in ways that other people just don't, right? They're in the house from the first murder of the mayor, and here's the riddle. He just walking around and then he just says the answer. You know what I'm saying? To the riddle. He lies still. He's like, you know what I mean? They read it and it's like he lies still.
I will say that scene threw me off a little bit, just setting the tone for the movie. Like him just walking in with the police and just not here with me. He walk around the crime scene. I'm like, okay, this is the way we're going with this one. This is the Batman we're getting. Okay, right. Cool. Like I wasn't expecting that going in, but I'm here. Let's do it.
This is a Gordon that's not commissioner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is a Gordon that ain't even chief.
Yeah.
I guess we figured out how that could happen because they both died. But you know what I'm saying?
Like, Commissioner, you in on this now? You done got up here pretty quickly, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of which, let's talk about Gordon. How do you feel about Gordon's portrayal in this?
I think Jeffrey Wright got that to the T. You know, good cop. You know, he has his methods on what he likes to do. You know, however, we don't necessarily see how, you know, Batman and Commissioner Gordon, you know, start to build the relationship. We don't see like how that initially starts, but you can clearly tell that they've already had interactions with each other, and clearly it's helped Gordon in some shape or form to the point where he's like, I need you to come to this crime scene. Even though he already knew there was the letter was there for the Batman, it's like, I need you to come take a look at this scene, because I feel like you probably are going to see something that the rest of them are going to miss out on. And he literally does that. Just like you said, the riddle, hearing it one time, and it's just like, he lies still.
Like you watch him walk over to the spot where the carpet tuck fell on the floor, and look down at the joint, and they looking at him like, where is he going? What is he doing? He messing up our crime scene. Then they see it, they like, oh, I guess I better take a picture. Yes, because he gone, right? I like this Gordon. I mean, I don't feel like he's the best Gordon ever. I think I've seen Gordon done better, or you know what I mean? Like, I think he does a good job.
You know, as far as this portrayal of Gordon, I enjoyed it, and I love seeing that relationship portrayed between them on the live action like screen. Usually get that in more of the animated series and films and stuff like that. So seeing like them really have a really close, like we're working a scene together kind of relationship was good to see on the live action screen. And Jeffrey Wright did his thing, like he was a good Gordon with it. You know what I mean? So it portrayed well on screen. I liked it.
Speaking of Gordon though, and you know, not really getting ready to see how they put that relationship together. My biggest pet peeve about this movie: nobody knew where the bat signal was coming from. Nobody. Hey, dog.
That one.
I can't, bro. I can't, dog. Like, I know that Gotham is one of the dumbest cities in the DCEU. Like, I know Gotham's a dumb city. Like, I know my business is dumb in Gotham. Like, it's just a place that is meant to be one of the worst places with like people. Like, nobody knows where that light coming from. Let me try to frame this, dog. The only person in Gotham besides Gordon that knows the location of where the bat signal is coming from is Batman. Now, unfortunately for me, the way my mind works, this is what I was doing in the theater. So somebody carried that big ass light all the way up
to the top of that joint
and plug that joint in. And for some reason, that unfinished building has power, and a lot of power, bro. You can't plug that big ass light into
regular wall outlet.
So it had to be Bruce. Like, Bruce had to have gotten with Gordon. Like, again, like, I'm in this joint, like, at some point he had to be like, let's do a signal. I'll find a place, I'll put a thing there, and then all you'll have to do is go and flip the switch. And like, somehow Bruce is rerouting power from Wayne Tower.
Look, I never thought about none of that even once.
Slim, I can't. Yeah. I don't
have
a choice. That's what
they want you to do. That's what they want you to do. It's Batman.
I didn't even think it. Maybe by second time or whatever. Like, before you say that, I might have picked up on it. But like, the bat signal. We know the bat signal. Bat signal goes up. No, Batman. Like,
normally, it's at the top of GCPD. So and it's there and everyone's cool. But now it's just like you said, unfinished building.
Here's my issue. Maybe it's not an issue. As the movie went on and like more people were being interested, like, I'm like, hey, Catwoman, you just brought somebody to the spot where the bat signal is. You just.
I did have a little bit of just a little thing with they come up there and shit there with Slim, like, I just gonna bring him here like that, like, you know, this whole.
I know he did okay. Bring her there when he was having the conversation.
He did.
Because when Bat Batman and Gordon showed up at the same exact time. I was like, hold on, wait a minute, something's wrong here. I was like, the signal's on, and that's when he was like, wait, you didn't signal me? He was like, I thought you did.
Can I tell you that's one of my favorite parts of this movie?
It's same here.
It's when that happened, and Gordon was like, "Oh, for real?"
Pull the strap.
And Batman was like, "No guns." He was like, "No, that's
how you do."
Like, I bust people. Like, that's your joint. You cannot shoot people. Somebody up there, when I get up there, somebody getting hammered. I love that, dog. Like, I was like, okay. We established very quickly, very easily, no guns. It wasn't necessarily the first time it's kind of brought up, but I like it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It was like, nah, dog.
I ain't got all that.
That's you, bro.
Like, I gotta pop off. Right. If someone starts, I gotta pop off.
Look, this trench coat ain't Teflon. It ain't happening.
You feel me? Penguin, bro. Colin Farrell doesn't look like Colin Farrell.
Not even a little bit.
Oh, bruh. I am sold.
I loved it.
I'm sold, bruh. Like, as great of a portrayal of the Penguin as Danny DeVito is, Danny DeVito actually looks like the Penguin.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they did stuff to him.
Of course, yeah, but
Danny DeVito, like when they announced like Danny DeVito's playing the Penguin, you're like, perfect.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, Colin Farrell is the Penguin. You're like, wait,
you're like, what?
What?
And then when you watch the trailer for the first time, you're like, I don't see the Penguin anywhere. Like, nah, that's him. That's Colin Farrell.
What you mean
like,
that's Colin Farrell?
It can't be, bruh. He doesn't. Colin Farrell's a G. He needs an award for this movie. They need the award for makeup for this movie, and Colin Farrell needs a best support, like, bro.
Because he doesn't even look like himself. He doesn't look like.
He doesn't sound like himself.
No, not at all.
Like,
amazing work. Like, they even tested it. Like, I did. I watched one of the. They interviewed him. He actually put the whole cosmetics and everything on. He went out in public and he went to like a Starbucks or something like that, and nobody caught wind that it was him. Yeah. And I was like, I mean, granted, you even now that you've seen, you know that it was him. If he walked in the street, you probably would kind of side eye. You may hit the little quick like, hey, man, I've seen you somewhere. Nah, not really. So I thought that was clean hearing that, because makeup is on point. Just like you said, like he took that role and he made it his own version of the Penguin.
Yeah. I also like how wrong they were when they finally captured that.
Dog!
Yeah.
You don't know your Spanish?
I knew they was wrong. It was just too easy. Like, nah, he was going on them.
You don't know what L is? Hey, I thought about that.
A rat with wings. A bat, like.
Sound like a bat to be.
Yeah.
I was like, hey.
That's the first thing I thought. That's the first thing I thought. I was like, oh. He's saying Batman the snitch. I was waiting for the Riddler to somehow turn it into Bruce. And again, that's one of the things I really like about this joint too, because when he goes to talk to the Riddler, like, you see the stuff that he has on the board. I'm like, somehow this dude figured out.
No, he knows it's Bruce.
He knows that Bruce Wayne is the, you know what I mean? Like,
I was like, we starting like this?
The only thing about that for me was like, yeah, but he just tried to kill that dude. You know what I'm saying? And then he left a note for Batman. So, like,
missing piece. There was,
but for sure. And I didn't know if maybe that was what caused it. Like, okay, so Alfred opened the joint, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, instead of him.
Oh, that joint gave me a heart attack. I was like, wait a minute, we can't do this to Alfred. I'm like, I know this is a different storyline and everything. I was like, hold on, we gonna kill Alfred? I was like, is this what's gonna make Batman become like the Batman that we know is losing? Yeah, is losing of the Alfred. But then when he tossed the letter, I was like, oh no, he good. He put a little space between him and the bomb. I was like, he just hurt.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was a good way to kind of bring things full circle, to finally have him sitting with Alfred and being angry, like, you lied to me, you didn't tell me, you know, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, coming to the realization and actually saying to him, like, after what happened to me with my parents and seeing what happened to them, I thought I mastered fear. You know what I mean? Like, nothing makes me scared. I don't have fear of anything. And I thought I had that licked until I thought I was losing somebody I cared about again.
Yeah.
Right? And as soon as he said that, I thought about the way that they portrayed him making the phone call to try to get Alfred. He's calling and he's bawling as fast as he can. Yeah. He's like screaming, like, I need to pick up the phone.
He's not using his Batman voice, like he's
right, like
he's Bruce. Yeah.
That actual fear, especially going back after he said it, you really think about those moments when he's racing to try to get back home. Yeah, he had that fear, right? And he realized he hadn't mastered it, and that there is something more than just, I'm gonna take down crime, or I'm trying to prevent, you know, him looking at the mayor's son, right, and giving that eye contact to him multiple times, right? I did think they were gonna make more of a thing of him. They probably cut it, but him diving and saving the little boy when the car came in at the funeral, I thought they was gonna make a little bit more out of that. Still, yeah, I mean, I you know, to bring it full circle, and you actually do see growth of Bruce Wayne, Batman, as a character within this 3-hour period.
Most certainly.
Right? It happens in that fear of losing Alfred, right? That fear of having someone doing something in the city that you don't quite have under control and you haven't quite figured it out, right? And you've got these notes, these journals that are saying, I've been doing this for 2 years and I haven't made a dent. If anything, things are worse, right? And for me, I'm looking at this movie and I'm going, yeah, like a lot of what it seems like is happening. Like, this Riddler joint is only happening because Batman exists. Like, he's writing these joints to Batman. But again, we've had this discussion many times. The thing that makes a great villain is that the villain believes that they're doing the right thing. Right? And this Riddler is saving the city. He's making people pay because he knows that they're stealing this money, right? That he's this orphan and all this money was supposed to go here, and when Thomas Wayne died, blah, 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 right? Yeah, man, I'm as a whole, how do you feel about this?
I enjoyed it a lot more than I did the Nolan ones. I don't want to put it in do I like it better than the first two Tim Burton ones and stuff like that just yet, because I'm fresh off of it. But I did really, really enjoy it. Two moments that were two favorite moments of mine I just want to highlight to me. One was the beginning with them really breaking down Batman and how he uses fear. The light going into the air and how people look up, criminals look up and they see that light and they get scared that he's standing in the shadows right behind them. Like, using that to be like, I can't be everywhere at one time. So I use fear to kind of portray myself to be everywhere.
Right, because you never know if I'm going to be there.
I'm going to be there.
Yeah. They really, really sold that. And I
like that too.
Really like that. Also, Batmobile, that first time he cranked that thing up, looking at the Penguin, I was probably the only person there that let out a loud noise. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, that was just the way it sounded, the way it looked as he did it, revving it up. Like, oh my gosh, yes. Those were just two standout that I just love personally.
Oh man, I hate to do that to you because I feel like that was one of the corniest parts of this whole.
No, I'm sorry. No,
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. Why was the Batmobile there
in the first place?
He drove.
Why was that joint there, dog? Like
it was. Hey, it wasn't. That was a little like as much as I enjoyed it as well too. Saying, that joint, just like you said, the way you rap that joint loud as a mug. Like, I know they weren't there beforehand, but my man already knew they were coming there, so he didn't tuck that joint in the corner or something.
He got that early. He got that early and parked it.
that chase scene, so clean until the ramp. I was like,
no, the ramp falls right before.
Okay, yeah, look, I enjoyed it. The ramp, I if I have to be honest, when the ramp fell, I was like, okay, that's a jumping part. Like, okay, that was kind of set up until then. It was great, but still, I love that Batmobile.
I know.
I love that Batmobile.
Yeah,
Don't get it twisted. I bang with the Batmobile. I don't have issues with the mobile. I do have issues. Like, again, this is my thing. It felt shoehorned in. Like, well, we got to put the Batmobile in here. How we going to do it? And when we do it, got to be a chase scene. How we going to do it? And he spends so much time on the motorcycle, and I dig that. It just makes you more maneuverable. You can get in and out, whatever. Like, I dig that. It's cool. It makes way more sense than driving the Batmobile. However, and you know what? They just parked that joint right where they doing the drug bust joint. Like, they had just figured out that was where they're doing the joint. Like, they just figured that out.
Oh, I don't care. That doesn't matter. It's just the way it looked.
That was
and
a video game
as he was doing it. I'm sorry.
I mean, pull
like,
that phone out.
Why doesn't he just take off? Like, for real, he could have just ran out.
Fear.
He could have just ran out and been done with it, dog. Like, he just.
Oh, you see a car like that sitting there revving up at you, you're gonna shit your pants. But you know, whatever.
Hey, people's face kind of sold that joint.
You gonna check that joint out? That joint look fire. Like, that's
not if I'm a criminal doing.
What you got on the hood?
Not if Batman's chasing me. They got criminal activities going on.
My favorite. I think that, like, I like that they kind of like. You see him in the Batcave. I like the way the Batcave looked too. Like, I just like.
I did too.
Kind of workshop. Like,
yeah.
But you
like
see the engine,
more retro tech, like of it.
Yeah. You see the engine like there, like clearly he's working on something and putting something together. That was corny, bro. And otherwise, a dope introduction. But again, you're talking to the person who was like, how did they get that big ass light all the way up? Where's the power coming from for that joint? Who's paying for that?
Long extension cord. Long extension cord.
Hey, bro. Like, if I'd have said out loud what I was thinking, I might have ruined it for everybody in that moment. Like, how did I get that back? Who parked that there, dog? Like, yeah, that joint. Yeah, just. She pulled up on the bike and he was like, "Oh, we got a problem. Like, we ain't." Cause you didn't even know you was gonna be there, bro. Like, you didn't how do you?
Not at
All right. That's enough. That's enough of that. Jokes. How do we feel about this joint overall?
Overall, I'm good with it. My only thing, like I said before, was just the kind of slowing things down when we got towards the end. But otherwise, I thought the pacing for it was on point the whole entire time. Like, I didn't feel like I was sitting there for 3 hours. I was like, the last movie was like Endgame that we saw, and as much as it was 3 hours long, I didn't feel like they wasted a lot of time in there. I think they could have summed up. I know the whole grand scheme, couple twists. I think they could have probably summed that up a little bit quicker, a little bit better. That would have shaved maybe that 20 minutes out, and we would have stayed around that 2.5 hour mark. But other than that, I was fine with the presentation. I think everybody in their roles did what they needed to do.
Yeah.
To support Batman, support Catwoman, Penguin. Like, even though, like, at first I thought Penguin was just going to be like a small intro, and like I didn't even think he was going to play a bigger role in there. But then when you started seeing these pieces fall into play, and he knew a little bit more, you thought he knew a little bit more than what he actually did. I really like that. For me, like, one of my favorite parts, honestly, was that interaction with Batman and Gordon when I think that was the DA when he got his head blown off and Bats was knocked out, and they took him back to what I'm assuming was GCPD.
That was the moment.
And like he had at first, it didn't look like Gordon had his back. He's like, no, I'm gonna handle this. And then when we got all of them out the room, it's like, we need to get you out of here. And I'm like, it sounded like my man had this plan down probably before they even set foot in there. Here's this key. out that door, you're gonna go down the hallway, you're gonna do all this and that. He was like, yeah, but you gotta hit me. And I was like, I thought he was gonna pull.
What I like about that scene was how scared he was when he got to the top of that building.
That was my favorite. That was the first moment I was like, that you could see this inexperienced version of Batman. He was like, oh damn, I'm gonna test this joint out for the first time. I ain't never test this joint. I hope this joint don't kill me.
It also was like the only time, again, him saying, like, I thought I mastered this fear joint. You know what I'm saying? It was like, oh, my man might be afraid of heights. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. Like,
I gotta get out of here, otherwise my ass is done.
And look, one of them times, like I know one of them gauge issues I had with when he passed out after the funeral, I was like, oh, they're gonna unmask him. Like he fell out in front of everybody. And then he woke up, he still has his mask on. I was like, all y'all cops are dumb. Y'all should have snatched that off instantly.
We could have done that joint
instantly. Like, why does he still have it on at this point? He's in a cage in the precinct and it's 50 of y'all surround him. Other than that, yeah, it was like, come on.
That joint was terrible. Can I tell y'all that I feel like they snuck the Bane juice in this joint?
Yes, I said the same thing. I said the same thing. I was like, did my man use
Venom?
I was like, did my man use
injected
Venom?
himself with the Bane juice. Like,
I was like, hold on a minute here.
First off, don't call it Bane juice.
Oh no, it's Bane juice, bro. That's what it is.
Don't call it that.
It was green Bane juice. And he had a slot for it in his suit. Like, my man.
Hey, look, he really did. He really popped that little thing open and just injected it right there. I was like, oh, that's good.
I saw that. I was like, Venom. I was like,
oh, that's convenient. Just a little pop it open.
My man went off. My man went off.
Oh, he beat the snot out Slim.
Let me tell you something. I exclaimed when he ate that shotgun blast, bro. Like, he
was done after that.
The gas.
I give him credit for just holding on to the edge after getting shot with that, like, because he wanted to pass out and die after that.
Sure.
This is probably the best armored Batman. Like, that I don't think I've ever seen. I don't think I've ever seen bats take a shot like a shotgun almost at point blank
and be done like he was.
I definitely was beginning to get, again, as it started to drag, like towards the end, the movie started to get like, okay, y'all, somebody shoot my man in the face. You got all this stuff about what caliber rifles to get and all these dudes showing up, and none of y'all shoot the mayor in the face, dog. Like, y'all families up there, don't nobody know nothing. Y'all can just like, and y'all just gonna shoot my man in his chest again and again. He in the hallway fighting these dudes on the way up the elevator, and these bammers shoot him in the face, dog. Like, somebody.
It didn't look as good on camera. That's why.
And I'm gonna tell you what. But one of my favorite joints was like, he cut his way into the joint, and then stuck the joint back on his chest. He stuck it. That's slick.
That's the battering. That's the first battering. Like, he
don't got 100 of them joints yet.
No,
I need this joint back.
This is not a bat. Every other Batman, all them dudes up on the top of that joint, some would have been like, like just knocking them down, right? Not this one. This dude was like, I gotta go up there. I gotta go up there, dog. Like, he don't know how to do
Batman's got tumblers. This one got a muscle car.
Right. Right. Like,
bulletproof muscle car.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, you smart enough to reinforce the windows, bro. Like, you gotta.
True.
Yeah, my man used that Venom juice. So that does that mean he already fought Bane before, or does that mean when we get Bane?
I don't think that's the Venom juice.
Nah, it's the Venom juice, dog.
That's Venom juice,
dog.
Dude, what else is adrenaline don't need to be green.
No, it was.
I get it. My man had an adrenaline shot in there in case of an emergency.
That
was not adrenaline.
Juice, and my man was on one. Like, he was. Like, he was going to work on Slim. Like, when he did that joint, his system was like, "Don't you ever like you." Crack. Like, he put crack in his system. Like, that joint was some Venom juice.
No, I think he's had an interaction with Bane already. And whether that was,
I do too, yeah.
I think that interaction has happened, and that
no,
in some manner, right? That leads to, dog. That joint was some Venom juice, bro. Like, where did he get that from? My man just untucked that joint. Why didn't you do that before? He only did it because Selena was about to die. You know what I'm saying? Like, Slim was definitely getting ready to kill her. You know what I'm saying?
Venom. That was Venom.
And he got shot in his chest with a double-barrel shotgun.
He sure did, bro. And then
again, a shot of adrenaline.
My man is hanging from the joint, and you know what this dude is doing? Slowly and scaredly.
Hey, no, that was the slowest reload ever.
Hey, if you don't take that,
he had a pistol.
Goddamn bullets.
He
had a pistol on him.
He just take the joint and hit his hand. So he
I'm about to say stomp on his fingers, just kick his fingers off.
Bro.
Like
anything, bro. Anything.
He's on his last leg at this point. Like, come on now.
Gotham, hey.
Again, as it began to drag on towards the end, it starts to fall apart a bit. It does. It's the same thing I felt about Batman Begins. Like, I think Batman Begins is great all the way until the end. It feels like, okay, this is what Batman will really be. Like, if it's this time and this age and whatever, and and then at the end, it just turns into a comic book. And this has that. I'm just like, hey, Slim, this dude blew up the retaining walls to all the water around the entire city. The entire city is flooded. How do you undo that?
I don't know, but that's one of the things I'm looking forward to in the
That's
sequel.
where, honestly, I thought that was probably... I thought that was where the movie was just truly going to end. You know what? The city is going to get flooded. And you know what? This is the one bad moment, the super bad moment that Gotham has had. And Batman realizes, you know what? Yo, this is serious right now. Like, I failed. Like, I really... And I thought
that would have loved to see that. As much as I would have
city.
loved to see that jokes, I didn't think it was gonna happen. But I would love to see it end right there. We're like, damn, I messed up. I gotta figure this out in part 2.
I didn't think the Jones was gonna go. I thought my man was gonna figure that Jones out, and it was just gonna. It was.
I wasn't expecting that. As soon as he pulled back the carpet,
and it was blinking,
and I saw the lights on the joint, I was like, "Oh
it's
yeah, everything about to go down. It's over, bro." I was like, "It's over," but I didn't. I thought maybe one or two of them was gonna blow.
That's why I was like,
and it was gonna be something in there to turn something off, or he was gonna head off the dudes that was going to try to shoot the mayor or whatever it was.
What in the whole city?
Look, even in that moment, I thought he was kind of reminiscing of thinking of what was about to happen. And that while they were going off, I was like, okay, he's just kind of thinking it through. Then when it kind of came out, I was like, oh no, that just all went off. I was like, oh, you
right?
sure?
Because, and I'm gonna tell you why that happened. Because the same thing happened when he was calling. When he was calling, they were showing what was happening to Alfred, and he's calling, going, "Hey, wait, trying to catch him." And then when she actually answers the phone, she's like, "Yeah, that happened like an hour ago, dog. Like I've been trying to, you know what I'm saying?" So like they kind of made it feel like it was all happening at the same moment. And so when it happens again at that point in the movie, it gives you that same kind of feel, like, oh, maybe this is just like him perceiving that it's gonna happen, and it's not, whatever. Yeah, man, I really do like this movie. You know what I mean? Like I really do like this movie. I do think it is a better DCEU film than everything else we've gotten, except for Shazam. This is not better than Shazam. It is a better Batman film than all three of the Nolan films.
Yeah, it is.
I'll say it's not better than the Keaton 1 or 2. Again, just different time period, different versions of Batman. I don't think this is better than that. Though I think for the first time, I might actually feel like it's equivalent to that. That it because again, that one set the precedent. This is the first time I think we actually have what I would consider an actual reboot that sets the precedent.
We've met that precedent again. Finally.
It's different. It is different enough that it works in a way that reestablishes this Batman as not the one that we've dealt with before. You know what I mean? That we're not rehashing the same old story with the same old characters.
Definitely.
Doing the same old thing. That even if I don't know, the Joker in The Dark Knight felt like a different Joker than the Joker before, which again, I've argued that if
there's
you watch the first one, they're so similar that I don't even think you can really give Ledger the kind of credit most people give him. I just think most people don't really know better.
This Riddler, though, I would say it's the opposite.
Correct. This ain't no Jim Carrey.
Nope. Two completely different versions of the Riddler, and I think this Riddler was the threat.
Oh, yeah, the serial killer Riddler.
Yeah,
like the whole long Halloween vibes. Yes. Like I was like,
straight up, it was Saw. Like it was just like
absolutely 100%. I love this iteration of the Riddler.
It was like, again, this movie did enough to make me feel like briefly. There was a brief moment. Slim was not gonna get his head blown off. Like, Batman's answering the riddles.
I was like, oh, he good.
My man's gonna be good. Like, he actually might get out of this joint. Until my man was like,
I ain't snitching.
I'm not snitching.
Oh, no.
If I snitch, my kids, my wife, everybody, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Like, it was clean. I also like the way they did the technology, like the whole contact lens joint.
That joint was clean.
And like, here, you wear this. I love that she used it to contact him again when she, was trying to get a hold of him. Which I'm like, you maybe could have did that instead of dragging my man up, snitching on where the bat signal joint is. You know what I'm saying? Like, he could have just hit the eye joint one time.
Yeah, but she would have booted my man off the side of that building. Like, I still got that.
I really thought a Sparta kick was coming. I really thought a Sparta kick was coming, and that dude was gonna go over.
I mean, he did go over.
Oh yeah,
he went over that joint. Oh, trust me, nothing about Slim's pants was clean. Nothing.
Not even a little bit.
Oh, it was funky Cold Medina up there. It was funky up there, bro.
Nothing but soilage. Nothing.
Did you see the way Batman walked down the side of that building? Like, terribly. Like, I'm gonna let Gordon handle that thing. That's nasty up there. I'm gonna walk down the side.
He can put them soiled pants in his car.
Yeah, they ain't getting in the Batmobile.
Not in the Batmobile. Sorry, the passenger door don't open. This is the one seat.
Straight up.
No, I'm still working. I'm still working on that.
Look, we're gonna wrap this version of Spoiler Boys up, man. This is Spoiler Boys, the Batman. Look, I'm not sure how you all feel about it. Feel free to let us know how you feel, what you agree with, what you disagree, what your favorite things are, what the things that bothered you were about it. Definitely looking forward to hearing it. By all means, please feel free to share. For myself, Gage, for Jokes, for Sin, we are the Spoiler Boys. This has been the Batman. We are out. Toodles and lose.
Loading snacks.